13 years old and your chairman, or should I say chairwoman, for this evening. Let me introduce Toma Lazaroff, who's also 13, and Aisha Adele, aged 12. We all attend Braunton Academy. Our presentation this evening continues, in a moment, with Toma setting out our debate on a subject we think you'll find both interesting and controversial: Facebook, a blessing or a curse. At the end of Toma's speech, we'll take a question, before Aisha proposes a vote of thanks. All this strictly within 10 minutes. We chose Facebook as a topic because there are aspects of it that relate to peace, both close to home and further afield. A downside of Facebook is cyberbullying, a really worrying aspect of social media. And yet Facebook is used by national government organisations in their good work around conflict zones of the world. So, is Facebook making peace or breaking peace? Toma is eminently qualified to talk on the subject. Coming from Bulgaria, he uses Facebook frequently to keep in touch with family and friends. Not only that, but he has researched his subject extensively, backed up with some intriguing insights from his talented, enthusiastic research team, Aisha and myself. It's a tricky area, isn't it? Everyone has different views, younger or older, Facebooker or non-Facebooker. Whichever you are, we hope our presentation will help you to decide whether Facebook is indeed a blessing or a curse. Ladies and gentlemen, I hand you over to Toma Lazaroff.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Let me ask you a question. How many of you use Facebook? Well, that's surprising. Did you know that you're just a minuscule number of the 1 billion people worldwide who use Mark Zuckerberg's social networking site that he launched just 8 years ago in February 2004? A simple idea based on a US college concept to allow new students to get to know each other. This worldwide obsession has evolved into the phenomenon we younger generations call a blessing, but that our parents generally believe is a curse. In principle, users must register before using the site, after which they may create a personal profile, add other users as friends, exchange messages and post photographs. Additionally, users may join common interest user groups organised by school, college or workplace and categorise their friends into lists such as acquaintances or close friends. As a result, any region of the world has become just a click away, and friends and family have been reunited and are now in constant touch over distances of thousands of miles. Having been developed for colleges and universities originally, and then expanded to schools, Facebook is now open to anyone aged 13 and over. However, according to a recent survey, there are 7.5 million children under the age of 13 and 5 million under the age of 10 subscribed, violating the site's terms of service. I, of course, have only recently subscribed. A recent study ranked Facebook as the most used social networking service by worldwide monthly active users. It makes me wonder, how on earth did we stalk our ex-girlfriends, remember our fellow students' birthdays, annoy our friends or play a rousing game of the Bubble Witch saga before Facebook? Mark Zuckerberg had a dream that became a reality in providing the world's largest and most frequently used social networking site, reaching 1 trillion page views in June 2011. But the question is, has Zuckerberg become an inadvertent modern-day technological Frankenstein, and has his baby grown into a cyber monster? Facebook has more safeguards in place than any other social networking sites. Twitter, for example, in that the user has to register with a real name identity, complete with an address and contact numbers. However, this does not stop some people creating false pages with fabricated profiles in order to remain, in their own perception, unaccountable. This creates a hideaway, or bunker, from where the unscrupulous user can post offensive remarks and comments that can be both hurtful and, of course, libelous. Unfortunately, each user can select settings in their profile, protecting themselves from this sort of abuse, but all settings are open until the user changes them, if indeed they are aware of such settings. Unfortunately, this has led to a new and dreadful animal known as cyberbullying. Examples of what constitutes cyberbullying include communications that seek to intimidate, control, manipulate, put down, falsely discredit, or humiliate the recipient. They will often pretend they are other people online to trick others, spread lies and rumours about victims, trick people into revealing personal information, post mean and hurtful messages, or post pictures of victims without their consent. Research has shown a critical impact in almost all of the victims, taking the form of low self-esteem, loneliness, disillusionment, and distrust of people. The more extreme impact, a self-harm, and horrifyingly, children have even killed each other and committed suicide after a cyberbullying incident. Although it was reported that Facebook was removing approximately 20,000 profiles from the site every day for various infractions, including spam, inappropriate content, and underage use, in an effort to boost cybersecurity. These are just flimsy leather straps holding the monster down, for now. So it seems that perhaps the parents are right. Facebook is a curse, a scourge of the vulnerable and the unwary. The work, the real work to police the heinous activity of cyberbullying needs to be done in the home. It may make you unpopular, but you know how. But there is another side to the story. It is a social networking site, but it has also proved invaluable as a community communication tool. Facebook pages specific to an area can help to build a sense of community amongst the populace. During the recent flooding in Braunton, through the village's Facebook community news, all manner for help, relief and manpower was generated, something which would have been unattainable otherwise. Fortunately, most of us use Facebook in the manner for which it was intended, a superb platform for reacquainting and keeping in touch with old friends, no matter how far afield they are. So let's endeavour to keep it that way. Which reminds me, I must pose those pictures for my grandmother in Bulgaria. Thank you very much.
We will now take a question.
Thank you very much, Laura. Thomas, Facebook. 8 years ago it was first came into being. Do you think Facebook now is being used for the original intention, or do you think with all these profiles going out over the airwaves, all your information can be easily used by unscrupulous people?
Toma, our questioner would like to know whether you think Facebook is still being used for the use that it was used for 8 years ago now.
I think that there is a lot of people who aren't using the site properly, as I said, for cyberbullying and for other reasons, inappropriate stuff. But there is a lot of people like me who use it properly to communicate with friends and family who are abroad or a long distance away from you. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that question. I shall now hand you over to Aisha Yadal. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sure you will agree that Toma gave us a well-thought-out speech. But before I continue, I would like to thank Laura Hunt, our chairperson, who introduced us to the concept of social media's pros and cons. I'd also like to thank the Rotary Club for organising Newspeaks and giving us the opportunity to speak to you today, and the Park Hotel for hosting the competition at this wonderful venue. Toma's speech really got me thinking. There's a whole world of adult content out there that we're seeing, but are we ready to see it?
Do I want to see swear words and inappropriate pictures on my computer screen? It was only a couple of years ago that I was at primary school, and suddenly the world has changed. Social media, the internet, they open up these doors so that adult content is in our grasp at a young age. Facebook, though, is just one of the ways to channel that content. There's movies and music videos with film stars and singers swearing and talking about things that, you know, us as children, do we need to hear it? Are we ready for it? But on the other hand, why aren't we ready for it? On the news there's all sorts of images, and surely Facebook's just a way of getting that news to us quicker. There are many different ways that Facebook can affect us. I'm nearly 13 years old, but I don't know if I'll be ready for it. Like everyone, I have things I don't want to share with the world, and I found out that if you put just one thing on Facebook, it stays there forever. People might not always be able to see it, but it will always be on Facebook servers, and one day could be used against you. So after hearing all this, I think that 13 might be a bit too young to start using social network sites. Maybe we should start at 18, because at 18, in the eyes of the law, we are adults. Today I'd also like to thank the questioner for posing such an interesting question to our speaker Toma. And finally, I'd like to thank you. Without you, we'd be speaking to an empty room. And there's not much point in that. So I'm going to ask you to join me in applause for everyone I've mentioned today. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our presentation for this evening. Thank you.